Hey, what's going on, CD? Was just kind of waiting to go live with the Instagram. So you can check me out on Instagram as well at edrec, that's EDREC _center on Instagram. Again, my name is CD, and I have a $45 million after school program business plan for youth mental health awareness, cultural awareness, as well as recreational development and training facility. It's a facility, meaning a building that I propose to get built. The first one, or the founding center, here in Newark, New Jersey, downtown in the educational district. Essentially, the EdRec Center is a spinoff of the YMCA, at least what the YMCA was originally cultivated for, back during the Industrial Revolution in London, England, right? Before I touch on that, I actually want to talk about myself a bit because I guess I haven't been totally open and honest with my followers. Well, I've been open and honest, but maybe not with myself. Let me redirect that rhetoric. So recently in my life, I met a partner that I truly love, and I feel fulfills me in its totality, right? She fulfills me in its totality. She is a wonderful woman, and I believe would make a great partner. I truly believe that. I thought I was ready, and maybe I am, but maybe I'm not. But I want to start by going back to the beginning. My prior relationship before this, which was about five and a half years ago. This is a diaper. Believe it or not, this is not for Barbie dolls. This was an actual diaper that my daughter wore when she was born in the NICU. As you can see, it's extremely small. It fits in the palm of my hand. My daughter was born 1 pound, 8 ounces. That relationship redirected the course of my life forever and caused long-term mental health issues within myself, as well as insecurities when it comes to relationships and love, being loved, or loving someone and trusting someone in its totality. I was forced to leave my child in the South. I live in the North, New Jersey. My daughter's in the South with her mother. She visits me from time to time, but not as often as I would like. And it causes some separation anxiety at times, not knowing when the next time I'm going to see my daughter. And when you attach to a child that way, as a father, not knowing the direction of that relationship, it begins to create doubts within you and insecurities that carries over to other relationships. So I took a 5-year break from relationships to try and get myself together mentally in hopes that my next relationship would not have any detriments from my past relationship. And I noticed how hard that is, and painful. So now this new relationship, I feel as though this wonderful woman is having to endure my insecurities and self-deficiencies, and she doesn't deserve it. So, I say that to say, young men, before you decide to have unprotected sex with your partner and have a child with your partner, just make sure she's the right one. Maybe marry her first. Otherwise, it could create a snowball effect in your life that you might not be able to recover from. and then you'll be single, or die old and lonely, all because of one night of sex. I feel as though women don't have that issue as prevalent, because women, it's more easy for a woman, I feel as though, and I could be wrong, I'm not a woman, but to jump into a new relationship easily, because men holler at the woman, right? So men holler at women. Women don't really holler at men. So women get hollered at daily, all the time. So it's easy for her to just pick up on a new guy, because the next day she'll probably get hollered at by a new guy, and boom. Whereas a guy, when he loses that self-security, he doesn't feel as confident approaching women, and sometimes it becomes hard to start a new relationship again, right? So protect yourself, young men. Protect your love. Protect your heart. Please. I wanted to start with that. And if such stated woman sees this video, I hope that she knows that deep in my heart, I love her. And if it does not work out, that I enjoyed every minute. And I don't think that I will jump into another relationship too quickly. Because maybe I won't find someone who fulfills me the way she does, in every sense of the word. So, with that said, I now want to jump into this book a little bit. It's called Money, Ownership, and Business Lessons, inspired by Nipsey Hussle. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. I want to read an excerpt from this that's powerful, that I can now relate to after my very first vacation out of the country to Turks and Caicos. The excerpt states, the ghetto is a trap, literally. And Nipsey would learn this early, while still a young adult. As a proud member of the Rolling 60s Crips, Nipsey was very transparent about his role in the gang life. From violence to drug dealing, it was very apparent that Nipsey really lived that life. Nipsey's mother was African American, with roots that traced back to Louisiana, while his father was from a small country in Eastern Africa called Eritrea. Hope I pronounced that correctly. When Nipsey was 19, he took some of the money he earned from hustling and bought a plane ticket to his father's homeland. This trip would change Nipsey's whole perspective and the trajectory of his life forever. Before the trip, he was just a young man from Los Angeles who was knee-deep in the gang culture with the hopes of beating the trap by becoming a rapper. After the trip, he became a Grammy Award-nominated musician, music executive, and activist, serial entrepreneur, marketing expert, and real estate investor who was committed to changing his community for the better. And then it states that Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "The mind, once stretched by a new idea, can never return to its original dimensions." How powerful is that? My mind was stretched by two things. Number one, the EdRec Center, the idea of it, and scripting the business plan and seeing the idea come into fruition, on paper anyway. And then second, by my trip to Turks and Caicos, visiting an island that was predominantly run by what we in America would consider minorities, solely. Meaning they did customs, they were police, they did everything on the island. And it blew my mind to not see any Caucasian individuals in high-ranking authoritative positions, and yet the island to be so peaceful, so crime-ridden. And even with its, how do I want to say, poverty, it still had such a low crime rate, such a low COVID rate. If that kind of poverty was in America, I couldn't even drive through that neighborhood probably. I would probably get shot at, robbed. I mean, it would just be chaos. Yet on that island, I drove through that community. I walked through one of those communities, actually, one day. And I felt totally safe. It blew my mind. that I could be around my people, maybe a little darker than me, but you get the idea, and not feel like threatened or like someone was going to attack me or do harm to me or try to rob me or sell me something that I didn't want, like drugs, or coerce me into selling drugs. It was a totally different vibe, and it blew my mind. And it just seconded the fact that we can do that here in America. We can have that here in America, but we must cultivate it. And we must reverse what we did to our minorities during the colonization of this country by our forefathers. This type of cultivation takes extreme action, extreme resolve. And I have the business plan that I believe can get it done. The hard part is convincing you and you to believe and see what I see and I believe. And I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. Because I thought about it today and realized, how can I be a pillar for a mental health program when I have so many of my own insecurities and mental health issues that were dealt upon me through life, that obviously I haven't fully conquered myself, and that I may never conquer? How can I be that symbol? How can you take me serious? Living 600 miles away from a beautiful daughter who was born as a premature child, and having to leave because I couldn't maintain a job in the area, which was never an issue. Here in New Jersey, I have no issue maintaining a job in my career. The same career I was doing working in the South. But in the South, it seemed I just couldn't keep a job. I kept getting fired or feeling uncomfortable because of how I look, how I talk, that I just couldn't stay with a company. Yet here in New Jersey, I have no issues. Take that for what it is, or what it isn't. But due to that, I'm forced to live 600 miles away from my daughter. And even when I lived in close proximity, I was still given a hard time about spending time with her and seeing her the way I would have liked. Did I handle it perfectly? Hell no. I messed up. I made it harder on myself than I had to. Yet I still do not feel as though I deserve this. Date locally. Have sex only locally, young men. It'll limit some hardships for you in case the relationship doesn't work out. I would like to say that. I would also like to say that mental health needs to be at the forefront of our communities, of our programs, of our children's lives as we cultivate them into adults. Otherwise, change will never happen. Change will never happen. And the wealth gap will continue to grow. And the povertized will become more povertized. I'm at a crossroad or a junction in my life. I'm just hoping that I make the right turn. Check out my website, www.edrecenter.com. That's EDRECCENTER.com. Read more about it. If you like the idea, sign the petition. Tell your friend to sign the petition too. And tell them to tell their friend. I just need 6,000 petition signatures. And then I'm waltzing into the Prudential building. Because after Tulsa, Oklahoma, the federal government owes us. They owe us. After the Freedmen's Bank that Abraham Lincoln opened and they used it to essentially build the Capitol, the White House in D.C., and the many black dollars that were dumped into that bank of freed slaves were stripped from them, individuals such as Frederick Douglass, and never recompensated for. For that, the federal government owes us. Damn slavery. They owe us for Freedmen's Bank, and they owe us for Tulsa, Oklahoma, because they had parts in both, as well as the racial discrimination that we currently endure in America, because that was not cultivated by our everyday citizens. That was purposefully cultivated by the rich and wealthy in order to maintain their position of power and create division within the country in order to keep that control and power over the people or the population as a whole. And we all fed right into it. But we're smarter now. We're better now. Joe Biden talks of change. He talks of healing the nation. I voted for him. And yet, as I drive through our communities and I visit our local residences to go fix their HVAC equipment, I still feel that people are in pain. People are hurt. People are not healed. And people are not healing the way that he said people would heal during his administration. For this, we might as well vote it for Trump. At least we know what we had. So Biden, Kamala Harris, if this somehow crosses your ear, know that we the people are not satisfied. We are not healing. We need more than words to heal. We need opportunities within our communities, especially in the inner cities. We need black businesses, funding. We need access to finances. And most importantly, we need education and counseling, cultural awareness, and positive cultivation of our youth now, today. And the only way I can think of it is through a program. And I have the program. I have the program. This program isn't for me to get rich or powerful so that I can be like the 1% that divides and conquers. This program is to give power back to our community. Power back to our everyday workers. Power back to the people whose blood, sweat, and tears not only built, but continue to build this nation on a daily basis. This program is for us, not for me. Yet, I could stand to benefit from it. And I'm sure my daughter will have mental health issues due to the separation that she has to endure from her father and my side of the family as she grows to be a woman. I want her to be happy, fulfilled. I want her to love and be loved. I want it to be a better world for her than it was for me. And I also want that for your child and for your child. Because it takes a village to raise a child. And my daughter will only be as fulfilled as her neighbor. www.edreccenter.com. Spread the word, sign the petition, and have everyone you know sign the petition. Help me do my job. Because I can't do it alone. I need my community behind me. Because it's for my community. Be great. Because that is what you are.